All right, I got Brian with me. Tuesday night, NFL. Brian, NFL, I feel like this is like the last week before we go into like a month period where kind of the league feels like it takes a vacation, right? Like there's like the only time of the year I feel like the NFL takes a break. But with that being said, the NFL always feels to find a way to get some news in there. And I feel like me and you want to start something new, and we want to do a little podcast every week with you, doing a little short little segment on a few different few different topics in the NFL. We're going to start that by doing four topics tonight. We're going to do, kind of quick hitters on each little topic here. You know a lot about the NFL. You want to bring the energy, the questions, raise a few little hairs in the arm there. So let's start with the Titans and Julio Jones. That was the trade that you were the most interested in. What do you think?
Well, I felt like that's why it took so long to get the trade done was people were expecting a first rounder. I think that the Falcons were like holding out for that, and a second and a fourth round pick. I mean, you got to be excited if you're the Titans to get that kind of player to, um, you know, now they got a great team. I mean,
Brian,
I'm gonna put him I'm gonna put him number two behind the Chiefs right now.
is it just me or like is it like no? So does that mean like nobody wanted to give up a first round pick or nobody wanted to give up a second round pick lower than the Titans? Is that what this basically means to me?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there was a lot of like fake sources out there that were trying to say that, but I don't think anybody wanted to give up a first round pick for an aging, player. I think his contract's an issue. He makes a lot of money, and a
So what
lot
do
of
you?
people didn't have salary cap room to fit him on their team.
Well, stop being a coward about it. Was it a good trade for the Titans or a bad trade?
I'm gonna say it was a very good trade for the Titans. I
Because they didn't
think
have to
that
give because they didn't have to give
I
up a first
think
round pick.
yeah, I think Tannehill gets another weapon on offense, and
Well, why wouldn't like a team like like why wouldn't a team like the Raiders give up a first round pick for Julio Jones? Like why would a team like I mean they might as well they drafted Leatherhead like Tyler said like why aren't we trading a first round pick for these guys like why I don't understand that in the NFL these weird trades sometimes where they'll trade like a third round pick for this guy that's really good. It just doesn't make sense to me. This trade doesn't make sense to me. Like the Titans, it makes sense. Like they get another weapon to go with AJ Brown and Tannehill. It will be interesting to see how Julio Jones plays with Tannehill after 10 years with Matt Ryan. They seem very similar. It seems like he would adjust well. He does have a history of injuries though, but like I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I didn't see him as a fit with the Raiders, but I saw the number two team that could get him would be like the Eagles kind of pull off guys like that where they get receivers because they got Deshaun Jackson and I don't
T.O.
know. I
T.O. Right?
I'm saying that I could see that the Eagles could get him, but I just thought at the end of the day they wanted to trade him outside the conference.
And that makes sense. I mean, when you're with a team that long, you don't really want to see that same player probably either in your division. That's pretty rare. Yeah, you don't see that very often. Um, all right, so overall, we think Julio for the Titans. Does that make them the clear? That obviously kind of. Do you feel like that puts them as the clear favorite in the AFC South now? I mean, the Texans, they're irrelevant right now, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, the Ravens are kind of um I think Jackson has to take that next step as a passer for them to take that next step.
I'm just saying, I put a future bet on the Ravens right now. They were at plus 550 to win the AFC South. I was like, that's pretty good odds. So I'm putting it on the Ravens. I mean, you're right. The Titans got to be the favorite, but I was just like, that's pretty good odds. So I'm going to put on the Ravens. Sometimes in the NFL, you never know, right? Like, what if Tannehill gets
Yeah.
hurt and the backup's thrown to him? So, all right, let's go move on to the Niners now. That's your team for sure. Shanahan had some interesting comments this week. regarding the quarterback position. I thought it was, I thought it was clear and cut that Garoppolo was the QB, but Cal Kami had a conversation with him, and in that conversation, it led to Shanahan saying, "I definitely see it as Jimmy's the starter, but if Trey's ready to compete, I have no problem with it." He's referring to Trey Lance, obviously as the third overall pick they just drafted. He says, "I don't sit there and say, hey, we're not playing a rookie quarterback. We have to rest him the first year. I don't really make any decisions like that until I actually have an opinion on it, and that I'll take to see how I see him in camp. If he comes in and he plays at a high level and we think he gives us the best chance to win, we wouldn't hesitate to do that." So Shanahan also went on to say, "Be really hard for any rookie quarterback to stand out that much, especially because Jimmy is a very good player and he's played at a very high level. In other words, it's more likely that Garoppolo will be the open year quarterback because Trey's really going to have to come in and seriously push him." So, to make a long story short there, it just feels like Shanahan's kind of, this whole time, it just kind of feels like they're giving Garoppolo these compliments, like, "Hey, like we trust you, we love you, we feel you, you've been the man for us." But it's also like, well, like that type of thing, right? Like, I don't get it. You're the Niners fan. Go.
Well, I've watched Garoppolo a while, and he's so up and down, and he has these bad games, he has a great games, and it's just I've never seen him as I mean, I don't know. He just I've never seen him as like a superstar quarterback, and if they got this young rookie quarterback behind him, and if they give him reps with the first team in the preseason, and he just like kills it. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if after the first game Garoppolo starts like slow. If maybe by the second game they put Lance in there because they gave up a lot for him.
Let me ask you this real quick to offshoot off that. At this point, they've kind of, it's a 10:22 p.m. podcast. I think I can say this. Like, I feel like I feel like Kyle Shanahan he's kind of sucked off Garoppolo enough at this point. Would he ever have the balls to actually bench him at this point?
I mean,
he would have to play horrible, right?
I mean, I guess that Seattle game last year, he was technically injured, but I felt like he pulled him in that game because he was playing awful in the first half, and he put Mullins in, and that worked out badly. So,
do you want Lance in? I mean, what are you saying here? Do you want Lance as your starting quarterback as a Niners fan, or do you want Garoppolo? Aragon, who's like one of my good friends, he has his brother. I was talking to his brother, Shay, who subscribed to our podcast. Thank you, Shay. And he's a big Niners fan, knows a lot about the Niners. Probably more than you, Brian, actually, I might have to say. This guy knows a lot about his Niners.
No way.
Well, I don't know.
No way.
We might have to get him on the test yet. And he was saying he sees Garoppolo as a perfect starter. He believes in Garoppolo quite a bit. And, I kind of trust his opinion a little bit there. What's your why would Lance as a rookie be a better option? Like, I mean, unless he's like even Russell Wilson as a rookie kind of struggled a little bit, right?
I feel like even as a rookie, Lance would have less mistakes than Garoppolo makes. Because if the pocket breaks down, he could scramble or something. I mean, that's the problem with Garoppolo. The pocket breaks down, and he either makes a stupid pass or takes a sack for 10 yards.
His winning percentage is good, though. He wins games.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
He plays to their defensive strategy.
I mean, he's got a great winning percentage. And that I was watching on Facebook before he came on here when they played Seattle in that last game for the division, and he played phenomenal. He played unbelievable in that game. So
I mean, he comes from a small school, so he's a hardworking guy. He's just gonna try to earn his spot. He comes from a
Yeah,
Division II school, not Grambling, Grambling, Grambling. That'd be funny though if he did. I
North
forget.
Dakota State.
No, he didn't come from there. Different school, and I'll look it up. And anyways, I don't know. He's just
I
a
know it's the
hardworking
I
guy.
know it's the same school as Tony Romo.
Let me look it up right now. Let me go.
Because I heard he broke Tony Romo's college record.
He went to. Yep, you're right. He broke Tony Rose's school records in passing touchdowns that season. He went to the. I can't see where he went though.
I have to
No,
give him credit because
Eastern Illinois. Eastern
yeah,
Illinois. That's where he went to school. So the mystery is solved.
because
All
I know
right.
you guys gave me crap because I used to love Romo.
Yes, you still do. Let's not push it. All right. Let's take a quick little break. We'll be back with our last two topics. All right. Aaron Rodgers. We got to talk about him. He's in the news every week. It feels like we haven't talked about him in a while. I got to get your thoughts on him. The GM makes the remarks kind of in their little thing about like, well, people, Aaron's difficult. Like other people are difficult. Like, are they just trying to force him out? What are they doing? Is Rodgers going to have to is he just going to have to keep playing elite or something like that? What are they doing?
I feel like they're just not budging with them. They're saying you signed a contract, so you gotta show up. I do think it's wrong what they did to him because it sounded like from articles that I read that he thought he was going to San Francisco before the draft, and they pulled the rug underneath from him.
Well, I don't know. I think it's interesting the Packers are taking this stance now. They're coming at him pretty hardcore right back. This is usually teams pretty kind of favor the better player, and they're kind of taking the opposite stance, kind of taking some shots at him, not always drafting the players he wanted. Drafting Love as the backup, which, in all due respect, isn't the worst pick in the world, right? In the sense of like, in an ideal world, you would want a backup. Even if it was a few years later, you would want somebody ready to take the reins, right? Like, and that's the thing is like with business is like sometimes when the writing's on the wall, it can be offensive. But if Rodgers just keeps playing well, then they have to trade Love, right? Or they have to make a decision. So that's what happens. That's what happens in professional sports. This is the real business, and I just feel like Rodgers is honestly a little too sensitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean he in my opinion he's kind of a prima donna type quarterback. I mean
Whoa!
I've never been a Rodgers guy. I to be honest, I was glad he didn't come to San Francisco because I don't know. I don't know.
Is he
He
too
just kind
arrogant
of
for
rubs
you?
me the wrong way.
Was he too little too arrogant for you?
Yeah,
Because he hosts
definitely.
Jeopardy? What is it? Is that what it is? A little knowledge there. All right, so the Packers, I feel like they're in a real interest. I mean, Love, like who knows, right? But they're taking a big chance on him for sure. And
But I've read an article that says that they don't even think Love is close to being ready to be a starter in the NFL. So
well, let's put it this way: he already didn't play last year. Rodgers is gonna play this year unless he's hurt, right? So he'll
yeah,
have two. He'll have 2 years. Like either you're ready or you're not by the third year, right? You got to be right by practice time. I mean, logically, the Packers are thinking.
I think at the end of the day, Rodgers wants to get paid. So I don't think he's actually going to sit out preseason games or do any of that. He'll show up when he's got to show up.
It'll be interesting to see where he lands because you get the feeling
Yeah,
it's not going to be with the Packers for the rest of his career for sure. So right
yeah,
now, the heavy favorite in Vegas is the Broncos. So we'll see if
yeah.
that's where he lands. That seems like the Broncos are just a franchise now that just takes on that veteran quarterback, huh?
Yeah, I mean, ever since they got Peyton Manning, they just haven't had that franchise quarterback. And I don't know.
Well, it's not
I
even
would
it's not even
probably,
Peyton Manning though. You got to admit, before they drafted like these last few years, like they've always had this like they kind of go for like the veteran guy a little bit, or like you know what I mean, like recently Jake Plummer
yeah.
or something like that. They go for these like kind of veteran quarterbacks to try to lead the way.
Or they picked up Teddy
Jay
Two
Cutler.
Gloves.
Who?
That Teddy Bridgewater's their bat. Oh no, he's a quarterback that they
Yeah,
picked up.
well, that might not be a bad option right now over Mr. Locke. That's not a
Yeah.
bad option at all. All right, let's get to our last topic here. Derek Carr, uh, Raiders. He says he's going to retire if the Raiders ever trade him. Is I think that's a good move. Then they need to force retire. They need to force retirement, and they need to.
I
They
mean,
need,
I have to say, Carr's at the end of his quarterback time. I can't see them,
it's not even like
giving
I
him
don't.
2 more years.
It's not even that I hate Derek Carr. Like I actually really like the guy. Like he's we both honestly we both follow. He believes in Christ. I believe in Christ. Like we have a lot of like beliefs that we believe the same in. I really like his competitive part of him and stuff like that. I like the way his like energy and stuff like that. But when it comes to like just overall like managing a whole season and being consistent, like in the NFL, like can he be more than a Matt Ryan? Like that's what I say. Like, can he get his team to a Super Bowl? Like, does the team have to be so perfect? Like, what's his
Yeah,
limitation? And that's what I don't know that. And it's like he's been on the team now for over 7 years. So when does that stop, or does the defense have to be so elite, or like where's the end game with him? So even though he
do
says
you
that,
do
and
you do you, do you
I
think he's a new age Jay Cutler?
no, I think he's better. I think he's more consistent
Okay,
personality wise than Cutler. But Cutler probably have more talent. You know what I mean, arm strength
yeah,
and stuff like that. But like he's gonna be there. Like he's gonna fight for your team, and he's gonna show up, and he's gonna he has a little Tebow esque in him in that sense. But like I don't know, like they just don't win enough, right?
yeah. I mean, it's just the consistency with Carr. It's like I remember that game against the Chiefs on Sunday night, and they played really great, and then they showed up the next week and just barely showed up for the game and looked terrible. So
It's too bad that he got hurt in that one year though, where right before the playoffs when they played the Colts. That was too bad of him.
I thought that was your best team when you had Del Rio was the coach and you just had
Yeah.
everything going right that year.
Yeah, that was a tough break for sure. Literally, those are like the one. And he's had some bad luck. This isn't me hating on Derek. I respect him immensely for his effort. I actually think he's pretty good at times. I just mean like there's a ceiling, and like maybe I hope he can keep getting better. And if he's the quarterback of my team, I'm not gonna like hate it. I'm not gonna like. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's better than the like Redkowskis of the world and those bums. Like Carr's better than those guys.
Yeah.
He's a top 15 quarterback, maybe like maybe 20. I don't know. Maybe he's like number 20 or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see what the Raiders do. But if Russell Wilson's
I
available,
mean I
what are
mean
you doing?
man,
You're trading for Russell Wilson, right?
yeah.
So
I
I
mean
don't know.
I mean I heard that the Bears were gonna give, Seattle 3 first rounders for Russell Wilson and players, and Seattle didn't bite. So it'll be interesting what Seattle does if maybe they have a disappointing year and they don't make the playoffs. What do they do with Russell Wilson?
Oh, I would think he was gone. I
Yeah,
would think he's gone. Hey, just because Adams our good friend, and I'd love to have him on the Brian podcast here for football. Um, Hightower, he's back on the Patriots. I feel like that's going to make a big difference for them. Like
yeah, he's
Belichick
a
with a middle
he's
linebacker usually is a big deal. And
yeah,
I know Newton's not the best, but I just feel like I don't know. Like I just feel like that. I feel like they're going to be a little bit better. Like not great, but I feel like they're going to be a little bit better than they were last year. And I don't. And I feel like the Bills might regress slightly. Like, you know how there's always a team that has an injury that was really good the year before or something like that? Like the Niners kind of had the bad luck last year. Like I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
there's always a team or like the Ravens, like there's always a team that has the bad luck. And I kind of feel like the Bills might be that team this year. So I kind of feel like the Patriots could kind of steal the division or something like that if they're. And I know you
Or
say I'm on a
I could see the Dolphins just if Tua doesn't take that,
he
you
threw
know,
5 interceptions in practice today. Are you
yeah, in
kidding?
practice, they
That's
could be really bad this year.
that I mean, come on, it's unbelievable.
Because
So
I mean, you don't have Fitzpatrick to bring in to, you know, do what you did last year.
no, that's true. Anyways, I just think back to the Patriots. I just think they have a chance to steal the division. And I know you think I kind of are my homer tournaments, but like I kind of without them, like they're a consistent franchise, kind of like the Spurs are in basketball. And it's like, how do you
Yeah,
get one of their leaders back and then like the most important position on defense? So I don't know. And Gilmore at the point he's holding out right now. We'll see what happens with that if they pay him, or I'm guessing they don't pay him, so he'll probably hold out until a certain point is my guess. So, but there's still going to be quality on defense, is my point. And if they can,
I just have to see what the Patriots offense does.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like, can they be consistent? Like even last year, they were good for 4 games, and then it kind of dipped.
Yeah.
So, can Newton pass good enough? That's going to be the question. Brian, let's end it there. Good NFL podcast this week, my friend.
All right,
We're going to
perfect.
this every week. Probably we'll see what the next NFL news. Little break right now. We might do one here in a couple weeks just to kind of catch up on the stuff that's going on. Then we'll pick it up more when the season starts there for sure here in a few months. So, all right, my friend.
All right, cool.
See you on the next one, buddy. Later.